Recently, I've been playing some more League, mostly on the SG server with some of my friends, and I've come across a fairly worrying trend. Almost every game, and sometimes when I'm not even playing with them, they'll ask me, "Hey Ailith, what rune should I take on this character?" Or, "Hey Ailith, what item should I go first, second, third, whatever." This also happens somewhat often when I play with my NA friends. For newer players, I think it's fairly reasonable to be uncertain of where to find these things, but some of these players have been playing for longer than I have. I feel like this is caused in part to reliance on built-in tools such as Blitz, over or Professor, automating all of that, and today I'm going to argue for learning what all the runes and items do. There are a few barriers to this that people will throw around. The first one is, I just play casually, so I don't really care. Yeah, that's entirely reasonable. I can't really argue that playing optimally doesn't really matter if you don't care about improving. That's one of the few valid excuses in my mind. Less so is, it's too hard to find resources for learning the runes. If only there was some sort of series that talked about all the runes, their use cases, and why I'd want to take them. Finally, it's not even like I know all of this offhand. I just go onto UGG and look at the most popular rune setup in D2+, so I don't know why they don't do that as well. Anyway, the skill does actually have some use other than making my life easier. Some champions have multiple viable rune and item setups that can vary from game to game. Not knowing these is a potential blind spot in your play. For example, when to take Fleet or Grasp instead of a more damaging Keystone, or when to go Kraken versus Galeforce on ADC. Beyond that, not knowing what runes do and relying solely on tools that import runes or even websites like UGG leads to stagnant builds that never change. That's why I'm a fan of theory crafting builds like Shredbreaker or Borg First Tryndamere. It keeps me on my toes and gives me a deeper understanding of how certain items interact. Knowing what items' niches are is also good for countering fed enemies. Is Stormmail a good option, or should I go Randuin's instead? Only one person on the enemy team is fed, so maybe I should go Anathema's Chains? Or maybe all I need is a force of nature. Keeping these things in mind will make you a more adaptable player, and will hopefully also make your playstyle less rigid. I'll see you soon, and as always, thank you for watching.